Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present Master Chief David A. Unonne. David, please
first of all, I want to say I appreciate everybody showing up today before I get into my speech. I never, I've been to a lot of these ceremonies. They're emotional. We've all done this. You're all going to do this one day. Some of us has already done this, but I thought it was important that I share it with Chris, because to me, that's what we do this stuff for. And all our brothers and sisters from around the world and everything we do. So that's what it was about for me. I wouldn't have done this today without the chiefs pushing it and Commodore supported me and Chris. I wasn't going to do it without Chris. So that's just the way it is, and that's what I wanted to do, and we're almost there. So good afternoon, Commodore Press, Deputy Bridges and Beverly, vets, JMSDF brothers and sisters, and all the other distinguished guests and visitors. Thank you for attending today, this honored tradition of military service. Your presence today is very humbling and something I'll never forget for the rest of my days. For me today, it's about honoring the service members, civilians, and family that I've had the privilege to serve and grow with over the years. Because without you, I would never have been able to accomplish the things I've been honored to do. As I thought about whether to write this speech or not, I found myself trying to figure out how I'd be able to recognize everyone who has touched, influenced, and led me during the last 30 years of my life. The list is long and distinguished, and in no certain order of precedence. I've just been fortunate enough to have all of you present throughout my career. As Joe Camp would probably have mentioned if he was able to be here today, I can be a challenge, and I do know there are others that probably feel the same way. But it was never personal. It's always been about them people we serve with every day on the boats, ships, and squadrons. The standard in which we live by, and finally the mission that supports the defense of our country, our allies, and interests around the globe. Having the honor to serve in several different communities, I've been able to witness the dedication of service at many different levels. It is remarkable what a sailor can accomplish with the little guys and empowering them to complete the task. This is the part I will miss about the Navy. It is not the programs, it's not the maintenance, or the reporting requirements, nor the deployments, even though at the time I enjoyed them as well. It is the sailor on the deck plate that we ask to do more with less every single day, and that continues to succeed at the highest level. That is what I'll miss the most, along with the relationships that have been built for a lifetime. As I mentioned before, there is no particular order of precedence of all the people I need to thank. I've tried to do that along the way and at every unit or command. But I would like to mention those at the units that changed my roadmap career, and probably the reason I'm standing here today. But before we get into that, I would like to recognize all the CTF Sailors of the Year and the future of our Navy. Sailor of the Years, please stand up and be recognized. Please give them a Behind those great sailors, or around those great sailors, is their senior enlisted leaders. And along with their chiefs and their command, they have guided these outstanding sailors to the point in their careers. SEL, Shipmates, great job, great job. I also want to thank all the chiefs at every unit at CTF 72 and CFAP. This week doesn't happen without the support of all you. To my coordinators for this week's event, I'd like to thank Chief Petty Officers Jump, Childress, Fabian, Evanson. I tell you, it's been a struggle, not a struggle, but it's been tough this week. They can't wait for me to leave. I know that. You know, but that's what you want to do. You want to do it right. You guys truly did a great job and have made this event and this week very special for me and everyone involved. Ladies and gentlemen, trust me when I tell you, coordinating something like this and doing it at the level of expectation is not easily done, especially when dealing with me. Again, thank you. Like anyone in the military, we've all had special places we have served and that we've enjoyed more than others. For me, it hasn't always been about the best location. It's about the challenge and the first-time assignments that I think about the most. Serving my first 6 assignments in submarine community was the absolute honor and thrill as well, especially when real-world events we trained for executed without flaw. But I have to reflect back to my first LPO assignment on the USS Flying Fish. And as I reported on board, within the first couple of days, I was standing at captain's mast with the guy I was supposed to relieve. It made me wonder what I got myself into. I say this because it was the 3rd first-class petty officer the CO had relieved for a lack of performance in a number of months. So taking a minute to figure out what was going on wasn't even an option. Captain's guidance to me after mass, fix it. Well, I'm here, and the experience of that tour taught me how to manage and lead in organized chaos, and taught me life lessons that I've used throughout the rest of my career. Thank you to Chief Hare, and thank you to Juan Parker. I'll never forget those 2 leaders powering me through that tour. My first experience was the transition to the surface Navy. With my disqual from the boats and ready to move on for my first shore tour, I needed a fresh start and a new command. Well, absolutely got that. I reported on board USS Curtis Wilbur and met the ship and crew that would change my life. I spent 4 years on that ship and probably never been so fortunate to have commanding officers like Commander Quinn, Roan, and Abramson, and executive officers like Griffin and Ford. Thank you, gentlemen, for all the guidance and support during my tours. I've obviously been through several supply departments through my career, and everyone has their special place and different memories, but nothing compares to the supply department, especially S2, S5 on board Wilbur. I won't get into all their achievements and accomplishments, but when everyone comes to you on the waterfront for your support and guidance, you know you're doing it right. Ed Cavens, Dave Deadwally, thank you, gentlemen. It was a pleasure. Thanks, brother. I thought up to that time I understood what a chief was supposed to do. Well, again, I didn't. It was the chiefs on board that ship like Tony Bowers, Dwight Hill, Tyler Sheppy, Rick James. Yeah, there's a couple Rick James out there. Kind of the same thing, but a little bit different. James Fisher, and plenty of others that I finally started to realize the expectation of a chief and how to do business within the mess. But it really didn't come full circle until the new command master chief reported on board. With new thoughts and expectations in a direction that I'd never really seen before, these, ladies and gentlemen, were the mission, vision, guiding principles that were instilled in our evaluations today. That chief's mess knew and understood these principles before they even written down on paper. Joe, I can't express how much you taught all of us about being a chief, good sailors, and ambassadors for the Navy. But I know one of the major reasons I'm able to stand here today is because of your guidance and leadership over the years. You were not only a great leader for the sailors on Curtis Wilbur, but to the Navy as well, and in my opinion, the best MIG-PON ever. I've had other great firsts, like my first tour as a CMC on USS Chung Hoon. Good to see you, Casey. Thanks for coming. I can tell you, I don't think there's a better tour in the Navy as a CMC, especially serving on those destroyers that are independent deployers and spend most of their time forward deployed. I'd like to thank the sailors that served with on board. You were absolutely the best. Having commanding officers like Jim Aikens, Mike McCartney, and XO like Chase Packard made it easy to succeed because their belief in the mess and the chief's mess that believed in each other. Even though the beginning was a bit of a challenge, we had great Shipmates on board Unonne, and they gave me some of the best memories in every stage of my tour. It seems like we were always together, one way or the other. Some of the greatest accomplishments and deployments were with these folks, and I can't help but think about them every single day. But the thing that I cherished the most was their adoption, mentoring, and badgering of my oldest son, little Dave. That time we all had together was special, and one's my son and I still talk about today, and will for the rest of our lives. Thank you again to the crew, especially the Shipmates of the mighty Unonne. To the Blue Ridge and 7 Fleet sailors that I served with during my tenure on board, I appreciate all the support and dedication to supporting new ideas and change during my tour. What I always tried to explain to folks is that working on a flagship is a whole different challenge than other ships in the Navy. And until you lived it, you don't understand it. I served with several great folks on both staff, ships, and ship's company, as we accomplished many things they say we couldn't do. Those sailors that were there with me know what I'm talking about. I was proud to be a part of. Thank you to Admiral Williams, Captain Lupton, and Greco, and XO Commander Ralston for their continued support and latitude during my tour, and to the outstanding Shipmates that I was able to serve with. Special thanks to Tyler Shepard and Kevin Mann and all those sailors that I continue to have a special relationship with today. Finally, to all the folks that work inside the ever-changing dynamic of CTF 72 and CFAC, I have to tell you, I didn't forget, Chris. I have to tell you, I still don't understand what everybody does, but one thing I know, you do it well. This is a complex command, to say the least, and it takes special people at all levels to work in every day, working in an everyday changing environment. For all the AIMBs and ASDs, Navy magazine overseas, to manpower movements all over the AOR, to the deploying squadrons that support mission-critical exercises, real-time ops, and to the people and parts movement on a daily basis. Thank you for everything you do in supporting the mission in 5th, 6th, and 7th Fleet AORs. Commodore Press, Deputies Bridges and Beverly, gentlemen, you're in good hands, and I wish you nothing but the best in the rest of the time on board. Gary, Shaq, and Frankie, and all the other SCLs and all of our units, thank you for all the support, and I wish you the best as well. To my relief, Curtis Brunt, glad you're here, shipmate. Always knew you were the right person for this job. This is a different perspective altogether, and as we start our turnover, I know you're the right choice for this assignment. I just wanted to wish you and your family the best in your tour here. Christopher.
こんにちは。海上自衛隊の皆様、これまでの温かいサポートを感謝しています。おかげさまでたくさんの素晴らしい思い出ができました。この私たちの良い友好関係が長く続きますよう強く願っております。最後になりましたが、皆様と皆様のご家族のご多幸をお祈り申し上げます。どうもありがとうございました。
Yeah, I wonder sometimes too. I'd like to also thank, again, Tyler Shepard, Earl Gray, Marty King, Chris Addington, Kevin Manns, JC, and Woody, and so many other senior leaders for the support and guidance over the years. Even though it might not have seemed I was listening at times, guys, I've heard every word you said. To the veterans that have gone before us, everyone that I've met and have a personal relationship with have taught me many things about being a chief, and have been great sounding boards of both personal and professional advice over the years. You have led the way for us to become the greatest Navy in the world. I just want to tell you, we all appreciate your service to your country, and thank you for your continuous support of our military today. I'd like to thank Tommy, Frank, George, Dave, Rick, and Gunny for their continuous service to our country. To my family and friends who have supported me through my years of service, this thing hasn't always been easy and not without personal challenge. A special thanks to my wife Naomi, sons Chris and little Dave for dealing with me over the years. I know it hasn't been easy at all. To my dad, mom, grandparents, and especially my sister and brother-in-law, who took on things for me and watched my back when I was away. I will never forget what you've done for me and others over the years. It takes a special person to serve in the military, and it takes a great family to support us. To all the family members that serve, thank you for your service and sacrifice, because in my eyes, you're the true heroes as well. Finally, thank you for all you being here today. I appreciate the support and wish you the best. God bless you, God bless our country, and God bless the United States Navy. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.